At this time, we ask that you please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Honor Guard from the Butler, Missouri Fire Department. At this time, we ask that you remain standing for the singing of God Save the Queen, sung this evening by Brian Pinkel.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
And now, to honor America and the men and women at home and abroad defending our freedom, Sporting Kansas City asks that you remain standing for the national anthem, sung this evening by Brian Pinkel. Prior to the anthem, please join Sporting Kansas City in Great Wolf Lodge as we pause to pay honor to Colonel Roy Fatur and his family. A graduate of the Air Force Academy, Colonel Fatur is currently Chief of Air Operations Coordination at Joint Command Headquarters in Kabul, Afghanistan. In another deployment, he commanded the 11th Expeditionary Air Support Operations Squadron in Iraq, where he won numerous awards, including a Bronze Star. Colonel Fatur is representing tonight by his wife Tiffany and daughter Zoe. Great Wolf Lodge is honored to host tonight's Military Family of the Game and offers heroes rates for their members of the military. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Brian.
Of the English Premier League. The referee looks to the appropriate people, has the whistle to the mouth, and we're underway for this international friendly then. It's Sporting KC of Major League Soccer against Stoke City of the English Premier League. Sporting KC looking to defy the odds and get a good result against English Premier League opposition once again. Stoke City simply looking to do the job and finish their American pre-season tour with a positive result. This will be Ayabuzi with an early throw for Sporting KC. Dom Dwyer will nod the ball on, the Englishman. It's cleared away up into the air by Matt Apson. Eric Kronberg will receive the ball for Sporting KC, the second choice goalkeeper here. A much changed line-up to the one of Saturday for Sporting KC. Relatively weekend line-up. Sporting KC have a lot of games coming up in Major League Soccer. Away to New England Revolution on Saturday, big game up in Boston. And of course then they host Seattle Sounders here on Wednesday evening, next Wednesday evening. That's in the US Open Cup final for those watching in England. It's the equivalent of the FA Cup final here in Major League Soccer. Here's Kenwyne Jones, the Trinidad international. Peter Crouch, the England international. Wilson Palacios. Robert Huth, the German. Formerly of Chelsea, of course. All the way back. to the goalkeeper, Begovic. Upson Ryan Shawcross, the captain. Robert Huth. Charged down by Dwyer. Matthew Etherington. Dwyer wins it back. Bunbury. It'll be Karedi Ayabuzi into Michael Thomas, the man from Olathe in Kansas. Dwyer goes down under a challenge from Robert Huth. It's a free kick to Sporting KC. It allows me to introduce my colourman, Jake Yardage. Jake, welcome to the broadcast. If you are Peter Vermees, if you are Tony Pulis, how are you approaching this game this evening?
Well, it's just another opportunity to get some of these guys some minutes. I mean, this isn't probably the strongest starting 11 that Sporting KC can put out there, but you mentioned it right there. You're in the midst of some big loaded schedule right now. You got to give some of your starters some rest, but you give these guys some minutes, and those guys that can show something can get some time possibly with the first team.
Early chance here for Sporting, and Suni Saad will just play the ball straight into the arms of the goalkeeper Begovic, and we can get underway once again here at Livestrong Sporting Park. The possession in the way of Stoke City, and they can get us underway here through Matthew Upson, the former West Ham United and Arsenal defender. Played for England as late as the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Scored a goal in a 4-1 defeat to Germany as well. Here's Karedi Ayabuzi, a man from London. Markovic, a new signing for Sporting KC, the Serbian centre-back. Ryan Shawcross rising high. Away for a throw into Sporting KC. Karedi Ayabuzi made his first appearance of the Major League Soccer season last Saturday. Home to Columbus Crew. Vaziha, the youngster. Trying to find another youngster, Kyle Miller. Taken in the supplemental draft this year in Kansas City. Here's Peterson Joseph, the Haiti international. The pass is poor from him, and it goes out for a throw on the far side to Stoke City. Mark Wilson, the Republic of Ireland defender. Peter Crouch. The header from Crouch will let him down. And will be a throw into Sporting KC on the far right-hand side.
And I think that's going to be one of the key matchups to watch. I mean, anytime you watch Stoke and watch Peter Crouch, you obviously you talk about his height and how he can get up over players. But when you look at the back four that are out there for Sporting KC right now, not the biggest bunch, not the most physical guys out there, save for Nevin Markovic. So it could be something for Stoke City to exploit.
Michael Thomas over to the right-hand side. Teal Bunbury gets half a yard. Stabs the effort towards goal. Took a nick on the way through. It goes behind for a corner ball, according to the referee. And the first set-piece opportunity presents itself for Sporting.
And this is going to be another storyline to watch for Sporting KC. Generally, throughout the Major League Soccer season, a team that's very strong on corner kicks, on free kick situations, these set pieces with guys like Kai Kamara, CJ Sapong, Aurelian Collin. Those guys not in here tonight, and you don't have Graham Zusi taking the corner. So can they replicate the success of the starting 11?
Bodies are forward for Sporting KC. Suni Saad, and the header from Vaziha will go off target in the end. It was well met by Vaziha, got away from his marker, but it goes behind for a goal kick to Stoke City.
And you said it there, Cal. It is well met. He just kind of gets lost in the shuffle there and able to get a pretty good contact on it, redirects it. Unfortunately, just redirects it too far past that far post. Still a good opportunity very early on for Sporting KC.
Matthew Upson with the ball forward, looking for the former Tottenham Hotspur man, Peter Crouch. Kyle Miller, intercepted straight away. Jonathan Walters on the left-hand side. Intercepted, though, by Miller, albeit momentarily. It's a throw-in to Stoke City on that left-hand side. Sporting KC with 11 wins here in Major League Soccer 2012. 6 of them at home, of course. Free kick for Stoke City. In Shawcross. Matthew Upson. Whitehead. Shawcross came through the youth system of Manchester United. Ball over the head of Peter Crouch. Walters on the edge of the penalty area. It's eventually dealt with by Sporting KC. Referee will blow the whistle here and stop the play. Jonathan Walters goes down under a challenge there, and they'll give Stoke City a chance to assess their what seems to be injured player.
And that's one thing you don't want to see, almost immediately going down after the contact. It's kind of hard to tell, at least from our vantage point, exactly what might have happened. But the fact that he went straight down, you know, it isn't a great sign. And I mean, obviously, we can't speculate as to what may have happened down there on the field. But obviously, still on the ground right now. They're now calling over for the medics. So this appears to be something more than just a little knock on the back of the leg.
It's the last thing Stoke City want to see in the latter stages of this American tour. Jonathan Walters, a key player for them last year, 10 goals in 44 English Premier League appearances last season. Scored twice on the final day of last season in a 2-2 draw with Bolton Wanderers against his former club. Of course, it was a result that saw Bolton Wanderers relegated from the English Premier League. Jonathan Walters played in the Euro 2012 tournament this year as well. He was a part of Giovanni Trapattoni's plans this year. Joined in 2010 after a 3-year spell with Ipswich Town. It was a season or two which saw him score 30 goals in 136 games in the English Championship, which made Tony Pulis convinced enough to make the signing. He's a big player for Stoke City. He'll receive the treatment off the field. And Sporting KC can get the game underway once again here at Livestrong Sporting Park. It's Sporting KC against Stoke City, live on the Sporting KC television network. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching in America or over the pond. Callum Williams and Jake Yardich, your commentary team here, live from Kansas City. The referee will have a word with both sets of players. The drop ball is awarded to Stoke City, and the play will resume here. Asmir Begovic, the Stoke City goalkeeper, to get us underway. Here's Matthew Upson.
And also Walters has re-entered the pitch, so that's a good thing to see. Not just for Stoke fans, but also, you know, this is a friendly. The last thing you want is for anybody to get hurt in a friendly match.
Palacios is lucky with that one. He'll get it back to the Honduras midfielder, Matthew Etherington. Able to go past a forest of Sporting jerseys. Here's Dom Dwyer. Combination of two Englishmen on that left-hand side for Sporting, Dwyer and Ayabuzi, both hailing from the outskirts of London. Here's Conrad Varziha. Kevin Ellis, homegrown player for Sporting KC, part of the academy here. Ryan Shawcross to Dean Whitehead, formerly of Sunderland. Robert Huth, 27-year-old, former German international, although he is considered by many as still a German international. Shawcross once again. Was rumoured to not be playing in this game. He was hobbling around a little bit in training yesterday afternoon here. He's made the starting roster. Peter Crouch trying to get the better of Kevin Ellis. Is deemed to have fouled Kevin Ellis. That'll be a free kick in the way of Sporting KC. Referee taking charge of this game fairly well in the opening 8.5 minutes here. Still 0-0. Here's Suni Saad. Overlapping is Koredi Ayabuzi. Suni Saad. Saad will go for the goal himself there. An audacious, ambitious effort from Suni Saad, a highly rated young forward here at Sporting KC, but the effort goes wide and for a goal kick to Stoke City.
But Suni Saad is one of the players on the field for this Sporting KC squad that normally, well, I should say his preferred role would be centrally up top. We've seen him utilized as a winger so far this season for Sporting KC, but today playing tucked in behind, kind of manning the more central attacking midfield position for Sporting KC. And those opportunities, because of that, as much as the fullbacks like to get up the field, the center is going to be open from time to time, so that might not be the last shot we see from Suni Saad from distance here this evening.
Stoke City are just one of a whole host of English Premier League clubs to have their pre-season on American soil. Aston Villa were successful with wins over Chicago Fire and Philadelphia Union. Swansea City drew with San Jose Earthquakes last evening and lost to Colorado Rapids a few days ago. Tottenham Hotspur beaten New York Red Bulls last night. Chelsea have been here as well, beaten Seattle Sounders and losing 3-2 to the MLS All-Stars, of course. Ironically, it was a Seattle Sounders player with a winning goal there, Eddie Johnson. It's an attractive thing to do for English Premier League clubs come to America for pre-season. The competition improving all the time. Tony Pulis said yesterday in the media section, in the interviews with the press, that MLS is something he'd like to do one day. Not quite yet though. The wife wouldn't allow it. Peterson Joseph. Eric Kronberg. Conrad Varziha. Only one MLS appearance for Varziha. That came against Toronto FC on June 16th as a late substitute. Here's Markovic. Bunbury losing possession. Kovic hobbling. Peter Crouch battling with Michael Thomas. Suni Saad. Palacios stands his ground. Ball comes through in the end, but it'll go back to the Stoke City backline. Goalkeeper smothers the ball as well, and we can resume play here. Begovic with 99 English Football League appearances for Stoke City. 30 appearances last year in the English Premier League. Crouch. Free kick awarded to Sporting KC. As we mentioned earlier on, Stoke City, one of many English Premier League clubs having their pre-season tour here in America. Let's go to our field sound reporter, Kristen Bock. What can you tell us?
Guys, tonight's match is the third and final game for Stoke City in their preseason U.S. tour. They played Columbus Crew last Tuesday and Orlando City on Saturday. They actually lost to the Crew 2-1 and beat Orlando 1-0, but they're not done just yet. After this game, they head back to England for two more preseason games. Then they head to Germany for their final preseason match. In total, they'll be playing 7 games, and this is all in preparation for their season opener against Reading on August 18th. Guys.
Kristen Bock, thank you very much. Markovic with a ball in from the left-hand side. Heads go up. Kyle Miller won it in mid-flight, although I'm not sure we knew too much about it. Suni Saad. Away from Palacios. Joseph. Kenwyne Jones regaining possession for Stoke City. Muscling through the midfield. Kenwyne Jones. Loitering with intent is Etherington on the right-hand side. Whitehead finds space in midfield. Wilson. Away from Miller. Wilson with a drive himself. Perhaps the cross would have been the better option there, but Mark Wilson opted to go for goal himself. He goes behind for a goal kick to Sporting KC.
Well, one of the things, I mean, we already touched on it a little bit, but the height of Peter Crouch is always going to be an advantage. But at Livestrong Sporting Park against Sporting KC here tonight, it's a tremendous advantage. So anytime Stoke City gets up that flank and you see Big 25 in the penalty area, you need to try to do whatever you can to get that ball to him in the air. And especially in that scenario right there, he was no more than 6-7 yards away from the goal mouth. So that's going to be one that Stoke City is going to want to have back when they look at the tape.
Boozy winning the ball away from Etherington. Stoke City back in possession though. As Kristen Bock mentioned earlier on in her report, of course they opened the season away at Reading. And of course have just been promoted from the English Championship. Couldn't have had a worse time to play a newly promoted team. And of course they open their home season at home to Arsenal the following Sunday. Free kick awarded to Sporting KC. Referee blowing the whistle in the favour of the home side here. Conrad Valziho was the player taken down. And the play resumes through Michael Thomas. Koredi Ayabuzi. Sweet Seal Bunbury. This inside is a poor one. Peter Crouch regains possession for Stoke City. Wilson Palacios. Etherington. Defend away past Ayabuzi. He's quickly charged down by the combination of the two London players for Sporting KC. Now it's Ryan Shawcross. Walters. Jonathan Walters. A right-footed drive which goes a couple of yards wide of Kronberg's right-hand post in the end. It was an audacious effort from Jonathan Walters, but it goes behind for a goal kick to Sporting.
Audacious, yes. But to get to that point and pretty much fight off 2 or 3 Sporting KC defenders and still create that little avenue of space when being surrounded by 4 players, it's still a good job to get the shot off. So when it's 1-on-4 and you see that little bit of opening, you got to take it. So you can't fault him for trying from that distance.
Markovic for Sporting. Feeds the ball through the gap for Ayabuzi against Etherington. This will be Dom Dwyer. Markovic bringing the ball into midfield. Ball over to the top. Ball skips off the surface. Miller keeps it in well. Challenge is made by Wilson. It's a throwing to Sporting KC on the far right-hand side. Good work, good build-up from the home side. Kevin Ellis comes forward to take the throw for Sporting KC on the far right-hand side. Does look as if we're going to have an early substitution here for Stoke City. Ryan Shotton is dressed and ready to come on for the away side. All about getting fit for Stoke City these games. Here's Varziha. Joseph. Sunisard again. Away from Palacios. Away from Whitehead as well. Bunbury. The left-footed effort, which goes wide of Begovic's left-hand post in the end. Good build-up from Sporting Kansas City, but the effort goes wide and it's a goal kick to the away side.
And really good build-up by this Sporting KC side, and really from Sunisard to Dom Dwyer to Peterson Joseph to Kyle Miller. I mean, it's a good four-man play to kind of set themselves up in a prime position in front of net, albeit a little further than you would like to be, but still doing enough to open up the defense and create a shot nonetheless.
So Robert Huth goes off. Ryan Shotton comes on, the 23-year-old from Stoke-on-Trent, product of Stoke City's Youth Academy. After several loan spells with the likes of Tranmere Rovers and Barnsley, he became a regular in the first team last season, notched a career-high 30 league appearances in the Premier League last year. Instantly he goes down under a challenge from Sunisard. It's a free kick to Stoke City. Here's Whitehead. Giving the ball away. Kevin Ellis. And Peterson Joseph. Pings the ball over to the left-hand side for Dom Dwyer, who's been flagged offside here by the linesman. That'll be a free kick to Stoke City. Good distribution from the Haiti international in midfield. Dom Dwyer just moving a yard too fast, though. Sporting KC, of course, undefeated in their last 2 years against English Premier League sides. They famously beat Man United in 2010 by 2-1 and then drew 0-0 with Newcastle United here last year. Next up for Sporting, it's an MLS game away to New England Revolution on Saturday before appearing in their first Cup final since 2004. They host Seattle Sounders on Wednesday evening here. A big occasion for soccer in Kansas City that evening. Varziha. Ellis got lucky with the deflection. Here's Peter Crouch. Matthew Upson. Thomas cushions the header to the right-hand side for Miller. Joseph. And Shawcross stepping up and doing well. Here's Etherington. Charging forward down the right-hand side, Etherington. Really good run this from Matthew Etherington. Went down, looking for the foul, nothing given by the referee. Now it's Michael Thomas. Overlapping is Peterson Joseph. Dwyer against Shotton. Yabuzi finds Varziha in space. Ball in from Varziha was poor. Here's Upson. Shawcross once again for Stoke City. Michael Thomas. Dwyer staying on his feet and doing well for Sporting. Bunbury giving the ball away. Here's Kenwyn Jones. Jones trying to find half a yard here. Excellent challenge from Markovic. Stands up well to the Serbian. And Thomas pushing forward. Gives it away cheaply. Palacios for Stoke City. Kenwyn Jones is onside here for Stoke City. Kenwyn Jones into the side netting for Stoke City. A couple on the near side of the stadium here thought it had beaten Eric Kronberg, but it hits the side netting and it's a goal kick for Sporting.
And really kind of a back and forth between the two teams in terms of just turning the ball over. Really some lazy touches, some bad passes. And then all of a sudden, Kenwyn Jones is right there on the back line, times that run beautifully. The through ball coming in is just perfectly paced and allows Kenwyn Jones to wind up, but still from a pretty tough angle, and a big goalkeeper like Aaron Kronbig is going to shut down that near post. Kenwyne Jones shoots it into the side net. Still a great strike, though.
Sunny Saad getting the better of Wilson here. Combination of Miller and Saad doing well. Good recovery that from Stoke City and Dean Whitehead on defensive duties for the moment. Now Walters. Good challenge from Peterson Joseph as well to keep the ball down the end of Stoke City. So throwing on the far left-hand side. Stoke City ended the season poorly with no win in the last 6 EPL games, but having a decent pre-season so far. Hetherington gives it away. Now this is a real chance here. Teal Bunbury with Saad in support. Loses out. Bunbury lacking the composure and awareness there that was required for Sporting. Jones, lovely sound away from Ayabuzi and from Dwyer. Palacios. Dean Whitehead. Something for Walters to chase. As well to keep it in as well. Jonathan Walters, it's against Kevin Ellis now. Walters towards Peter Crouch, who hits the crossbar, but it's been flagged offside anyway. The chance goes beckoning for Stoke City. Lovely floated ball in from Walters, and Crouch puts the effort over.
Yeah, we've said it on a handful of occasions already. If there's one thing you can count on this early on in the season, yeah, you expect maybe a little bit of rust from the guys in Stoke, but there's one thing you know you can count on: put that ball in the air, and Peter Crouch is going to go up and win it almost every single time, no matter who's guarding him. In that instance, just another example right there. Doesn't get in the back of the net, but still, you know, even being offsides and bringing the ball back, it's still rounding into that mid-season form, and Peter Crouch is a guy who's critical to the success of Stoke City.
Wilson. All over to the £10 million man, Peter Crouch. Whitehead goes down under a challenge from Peterson Joseph. It's a free kick to Stoke City, and the bodies can push forward here for the away side. Dean Whitehead, one of the key players for Stoke City this season. Going down under a challenge. The required bodies push forward for Stoke City. Hetherington towards Peter Crouch. Ball just too high for Peter Crouch. Can't imagine we'll say that too much this game. And he goes behind for a goal kick.
But as soon as the game kicked off, we talked a little bit in terms of just how valuable this experience is for the players out there on the field for Sporting KC. And when you look at a guy like Conrad Varzija, who's really only been playing center back for a couple of months now, been reverted into that position, a new position by manager Peter Vermees, and has been learning on the fly as the season has progressed. And now all of a sudden tonight you're going up against a guy like Peter Crouch. I mean, you just can't replicate this kind of teaching experience it's going to be for a guy like Conrad Varzija.
Here is Varzija. Ball over the top, and Upson will deal with it. Here's Wilson Palacios and Dean Whitehead. Ryan Shodden. Hetherington again. There's a chance. Walters cutting inside. Low drive. Took a deflection on the way through. Goes behind. In the way of Stoke City, it'll be a throwing on the far left-hand side here. Lovely cut inside. It got a deflection from Varzija. Fans have turned up in their numbers this evening once again. Ryan Shodden will be the man to throw this in. We're all familiar with the Rory Delap abilities. Now the Irishman can throw the ball in. Ryan Shodden can do it as well for Stoke City. Headed away by Ayabuzi. Excellent leap from the left back.
Didn't really expect to hear you say headed out by Koredi Ayabuzi on the throw-in.
Here's Sunny Saad. And Kyle Miller on the right-hand side. Saad once again, looking for half a yard. Here's Sunny Saad! Off the post for Sporting KC. Sunny Saad with a ferocious effort from 20 yards out or so. It beat Begovic. It's a strong challenge there from Ayabuzi. Referee once again blowing the whistle. It's a free kick to Stoke City. But what a chance that was. Something out of nothing there for Sporting.
And we talked about it after the first shot he had from distance, playing in that midfield role and having guys get up the sideline and basically widen the game out is what's going to give him more opportunities. We've seen him play up front a lot so far in this Major League Soccer season, but hasn't really gotten the opportunities. But he has such a great shot from distance. He gets within 30 yards, and he has a window. You got to take it if you're Sunny Saad. And even if he does miss it, you can't be that disappointed if you're the coach because he has that great of a shot on it.
Stoke City played in the Europa League last season for the first time in club history. That was due to reaching the FA Cup final for the first time in club history, where they were defeated by Manchester City by 1-0. It's a historic season for Stoke City that season, of course. Only 2 players brought in this Premier League off-season so far for Tony Pulis. Jamie Ness on a free from Rangers, and of course Jeff Cameron from the Houston Dynamo. Almost uncharacteristic from Tony Pulis. He does like to splash the cash usually. Spent $34 million last pre-season, bringing in the likes of England international Peter Crouch and Honduras international Wilson Palacios, both from Tottenham Hotspur. Both on the field this evening, of course. Here's Kevin Ellis. Markovic. Markovic almost teasing Dean Whitehead. Here's Etherington for Stoke City. Shotton with the clearance. Markovic doing what was necessary, clearing the ball away from Peter Crouch. Sporting KC third in the Eastern Conference this year in Major League Soccer with 37 points on the board so far. Only conceded 21 goals so far this year, the joint second lowest in MLS alongside Chivas USA. Only 7 of those were conceded at home this year so far. One of the better defensive units in Major League Soccer. Walters. Palacios. And Sunny Saad. Conrad Varziha. His second year with the club. Spent all of last year out with a torn ACL, knee injury. Here's Kevin Ellis, here to make his Major League Soccer debut. Highly regarded amongst the Sporting KC staff, though. Ayabuzi charging forward. Karidi Ayabuzi looking for half a yard. Joseph. The intensity dies down for the moment for Sporting. Here comes Varziha. Pass is cut out by Palacios excellently. Well read by the Honduran midfielder. Shotton. Varziha beating Crouch in the air. Ellis inside to Michael Thomas. Shotton for Stoke City. Now Kenwyn Jones. Only 4 goals last year for the forward. He had a disappointing year, but he did add in the aspect of being a target man for Stoke City. Assisted quite a lot last year in the English Premier League. Here's Markovic. Moving into nosebleed territory for a centre-back. Markovic, his cross is deflected. It's an excellent run. It's well appreciated by the home fans here, who show their appreciation through applause. It's a corner ball to the home side.
Nice round of applause, but it's also a good opportunity for fans to see what exactly Nevin Markovic brings to the table. Very recent signing. I mean, sure, we've seen a lot of him in training, but not everyone has that opportunity. He's only appeared pretty much came in with a few minutes left remaining this past weekend in Major League Soccer. Played last week against Montpellier, but you know, he's still getting acclimated to the team and the system that Peter Vermees likes here in Sporting KC. So this is another good opportunity to see what Nevin brings to the table.
Ball played in. I was rising. This was Shotton and Upson. Here's Miller. Saad hitting half a yard. Simi Saad deflected behind, and it goes away and behind for another corner ball to Sporting KC. The pressure is on Stoke City, the English Premier League side. You feel the intensity here at Livestrong Sporting Park. It was Simi Saad weaving in between Peter Crouch. Got the left-footed drive off. He got a deflection on the way through, and a corner ball is the award for Sporting.
And really a beautiful move off the great reaction timing. Peter Crouch actually gets a touch on that ball, but Suni Saad is right there to pick it up. Quick 1-2 and earns another corner.
Saad. Ellis is there with a header. It's into the arms of the goalkeeper. You get the feeling either side of the goalkeeper for Stoke City there. It would have been an opening goal here for Sporting KC, but it's a header straight into the arms of Begovic. Play will resume momentarily. Two players are down now for Stoke City and for Sporting. Matthew Upson is the player down for Stoke City. Last thing either of these teams wants is to see their players down on the field injured. It's only a pre-season game, remember. Kevin Ellis gets to his feet for Sporting. Chance for both sides to take in some fluids as well. Kronberg giving the youngster Kyle Miller a thing or two. Piece of advice. Gary Zavagnin, the assistant coach here for Sporting KC, dishing out instructions to his players. A decent performance for Sporting KC over the opening 33 minutes here. Either side have a goal to show for their efforts. We'd expect wholesale changes at half-time from Stoke City as well. They do have options on the bench, the likes of Cameron Jerome and the returning Mamadi Sidibe as well. Rory Delap, Michael Tonga as well available in the midfield. Sporting have options of their own though, the likes of Julio Cesar, the former Real Madrid and Bolton Wanderers man on the bench, as well as Kai Kamara, the team's top goal scorer this year in MLS with 8 goals. Bobby Convey, formerly of Reading, on the bench as well for Sporting KC. Thomas goes down. Kenwyn Jones drives the ball well over the bar in the end. I think it was Nevin Markovic was the player who went down instantly from a challenge from Peter Crouch. Kenwyn Jones, the Trinidad and Tobago international, with a hopeful shot more than anything. Lacked the composure, didn't he? Ball was teasing and inviting. Had to have the effort left-footed. Here's Markovic. Sarta Varziha. Bunbury, the USA international. Now it's Koredi Ayabuzi. Nevin Markovic once again. Hetherington. Jones. There's Palacios weaving through midfield away from Joseph. Kenwyn Jones. Matthew Etherington. Palacios once again anchoring the midfield for Stoke City. Here's Whitehead. Ryan Shawcross. Crouch. Jones with an awkward ball over the top. Ayabuzi has to deal with it. A free kick to Sporting KC. As we said earlier on, it's been a relatively quiet summer in terms of transfers for Stoke City. But they have made a couple of signings, the likes of Jamie Ness from Rangers and, of course, Jeff Cameron joining from Houston Dynamo in Major League Soccer. Now part of the squad after a £2.5 million move. He's field side with our reporter, Kristen Bock.
Thanks, guys. Jeff, it was announced last week that agreed to terms on your transfer, but what is the status of that transfer as of today?
Right now, we're just waiting for my work permit so I can officially play with Stoke. The MLS is not allowing me to train or play in friendlies until the work permit is fully clear, and the date is next Wednesday. So I'll travel back with Stoke tomorrow to England and try to get settled, try to find a place and all that kind of stuff, and figure out what's going to happen there, and then hopefully have my fingers crossed for Wednesday.
What have you been able to do? And I know you've been with the team for a few days now.
No, just working out, with the trainer and whatnot, just staying fit as possible, trying to stay sharp, doing things on my own, and, just trying to stay at the level where I've been. I think I'm pretty fit right now. I'm ready to get going. I just want to get into the team and start gelling with the guys on the playing field, and that's obviously, you got a couple weeks before the home opener.
So what are your initial thoughts on your team so far? You haven't done much training, but off the field.
No, the guys have been great. They've been very nice to me, especially listening to their American accents. But no, it's been great so far. It's a learning process. I'm trying to learn, everybody's name. I'm trying to, get the staff and, just the techniques of how Coach Pulis is coaching the team and different certain techniques and stuff. So I'm just trying to work with that and, get adjusted. And it's a little different from Houston, but very similar in other ways.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Cal, Jake, back to you.
Thank you. There you have it, Stoke City fans. Your new signing, Jeff Cameron, speaking to our reporter, Kristen Bock. Extremely excited about his new adventure in the English Premier League. We can tell you from first-hand experience, he's an aggressive, composed centre-back. He's been one of the better players in Major League Soccer, especially for his club who he's signed for Stoke from Houston Dynamo. Very highly rated by the coach there, Dominic Kinnear, as well as the other coaches around MLS as well. Be a handy addition. Interesting to see if he can beat the likes of Robert Huth and Ryan Shawcross to the centre-back positioning. Here's Soony Saad, charged down by Shawcross. It's the man Jeff Cameron has to perhaps even think about beating if he's going to get into this Stoke City centre-back side.
Well, the thing with Cameron is he's got the physical tools. I mean, easily has the physical tools to probably fit in with this squad. But you said there, it's going to be a matter of getting across the established guys that Pulis feels comfortable with already. He's only been with the team for a couple days, can really only train. But with that being said, at least from our perspective, we have had, the ability to watch him over his few short years here in Major League Soccer. Was it an MLS Defender of the Year last season? Gets called into the United States men's national team, and I truly do believe he is, kind of the heir apparent in the center back scenario for the United States men's national team. When you look at guys like, there is a Carlos Bocanegra, and then after that, it's just kind of a shuffle. You see new guys here and there, and no one has really stood out too much. Jeff Cameron, could he be that guy in the future for the United States men's national team?
It's undoubtedly the next breed of US soccer players, without a shadow of a doubt. 27 years of age, in his prime now. He gets a chance on the big stage with Stoke City. Here's Neven Markovic. Markovic again. Walters to Wilson. And Shawcross, the tried and tested. Kenwyn Jones. Combination of Michael Thomas and Peterson Joseph there. Far too much for the referee. Free kick to Stoke City. And a chance to push the bodies forward. Palacios takes it quickly. Here's Shotton. Etherington teasing ball in. Punched away by Eric Kronberg. This will be Sunni Sarr for Sporting KC. Joseph. And now Michael Thomas. Markovic again for Sporting KC. Dwyer. The better of Shotton. Dom Dwyer goes down under a challenge there. Referee not interested in that. Home fans wanted a free kick. Right on the edge of the penalty area, wasn't it? Here's Jones. Prodding the ball away. Dominic Dwyer is still down on the pitch for Sporting KC. Really collided into the Stoke City centre-back, Shawcross. Taking the wind out of him for sure. You can see some of Sporting KC's first-team regulars there. Thanks to Aurelian Collin. CJ Sapong is there as well.
Now, how do those guys get victory suite tickets?
We need to have a word, don't we?
That's just unfair.
CJ Sapong and Aurelian Collin. Big players for Sporting KC.
When Collins, the guy to get there waving as we speak, he's the guy to keep an eye on right now, especially if you're a Sporting KC fan, obviously suffering those minor facial fractures during Major League Soccer's All-Star game against Chelsea. Really kind of the, I will say the heartbeat of the defense for this Sporting KC squad. When the usual back four is intact for Sporting KC, the team is almost unbeatable, or has been almost unbeatable in the past. And can he return to full strength sooner rather than later, because this Eastern Conference in Major League Soccer is getting really congested at the top.
Here's Palacios. Shawcross. Markovic rising well. Unchallenged though. Kevin Ellis is forced to just smash the ball away. It ricocheted off Mark Wilson. Referee stops the play because of the second ball on the field at the moment.
When friendlies, you can employ the multi-ball mode, right?
This is true.
I mean, I think if you added it, it would be awesome. If you just threw like 3 soccer balls on the field, but only for like 30 seconds.
Who can imagine what chaos and havoc that would cause? Here's Dwyer pushing forward for Sporting, and once again classes into Ryan Shawcross, who gets a piece of Dom Dwyer as well.
He did more than get a piece of him. He stuck the leg out and took him down. I mean, that's just a little retaliation for Dwyer getting a little physical right there, kind of the shove in the back. Dwyer's doing his best to get around him, and Shawcross just says, sorry, man, just going to return the favor right here. I mean, obviously the home crowd's not going to like that one too much, but that's, that's give and take. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
And Shawcross originally had a year loan spell at Stoke City from Manchester United before making his move permanent for $1.5 million. Back in 2008, played every single English Premier League game for Stoke City last season. There's a reason why he's club captain. Here's Crouch, Jonathan Walters, and now Jones. Crouch trying to wriggle through. Well, there we have the half-time whistle here at Livingston Sporting Park. It's been a relatively even first half between Major League Soccer side Sporting KC and English Premier League side Stoke City. It's 0-0 at half-time. Jake Yardwich, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I think a lot of it can be a little expected. I mean, Stoke City coming in, obviously a little rusty, still trying to get some legs underneath them. You have some new faces out there trying to get integrated you know, with everyone as the preseason continues. For Sporting KC, I think you have to be very happy with the way that the players.
National soccer gracing Kansas City for the second time in 7 days. Halftime it is Sporting Kansas City of MLS 0, Stoke City of the English Premier League 0. One change as far as we're aware for Stoke City, and it is Ryan Shawcross making way, and Robert Huth has come back on for Stoke City. It is an international friendly, of course, so those usual FIFA obligated rules do not apply in this, in terms of the substitutions anyway. Second half underway then. It is Sporting KC 0, Stoke City 0. Sporting KC undefeated against English Premier League opposition in the last 3 years. Stoke City will hope to do the job and break that mark this evening. Lots of preparation to do before they open up to Reading in the English Premier League season. Over to the right-hand side for Shodden. Well, lots will have been said at half-time between both sets of head coaches. Let's go field side to Kristen Bock. Kristen, what have they said? We'll get down to Kristen in a moment or two. Technical problem there. We'll get down to her as soon as we can. Here's Dwyer. Over to Ayabuzi on the left-hand side. Ended away by Huth. Back in contention on the Stoke City backline. He moves to right back and Shotton moves inside, it looks like. Here's Bunbury on the left-hand side. Beg your pardon, Shotton's at right back. Here's Joseph. Sunny Sardi's touch lets him down. Here's Etherington, formerly of West Ham United. Well, let's see if we can get a word from Kristen Bock. Kristen, the coaches at halftime, what have they said to you?
Thanks, guys. Talking to Kerry Zabakman going into halftime, he said attacking-wise, they had a few decent chances, a couple of those coming from Sunni Saad, but they need to be better and more responsible with possessing the ball. He thinks that they can open things up if they string 5, 6, 7 passes together, but on the defensive end, he says the team needs to do a better job at handling Stoke's direct style of play, and especially handling those first and second balls. Though he thinks it's something that he's very confident if they can kind of be patient on the ball, they can get something in this game. Jake, Cal?
Kristen, thank you very much. Talking of that direct play, there was a pure example of it there as Peter Crouch was the man on the edge of the Sporting KC penalty area. It's a foul in the way of Sporting KC. I'm sure Tony Pulis will have talked to his side at half-time and given them more than enough instructions to get themselves a win out of this game. He was saying yesterday that they were working on shape more than anything for this game. All over the top for Sunni Saad, just in behind here, but Begovic will come across and claim for Stoke City. Tony Pulis was saying yesterday that him and his coaching staff were working with the players on shape ahead of the new Barclays Premier League season. Also how to deal with the heat here in Kansas City as well. It's 100 degrees here this evening. 45 for those of you back in England. Here's Bunbury. Twisting and turning. Dwyer. Second touch lets down the Englishman. Stoke City back in possession. Here's Whitehead. Shot with the ball forward. One in mid-flight by Markovic. Stoke City will push forward again. Whitehead into Kenwyn Jones, the former Sunderland man. Another player who Tony Pulis spent a lot of money on to get into Stoke City. Here come the home side. Miller down the right-hand side. Kyle Miller shacks the ball. Ball skews well wide of the intended target in the end. Not even sure the shot was what Kyle Miller would have wanted. He was looking across, just trying to dink the ball towards the back post, but he got it all wrong. The ball span off the outside of the right foot, and it's a goal kick to Stoke City.
Well, you got to give credit to Stoke there for the recovery, get back and getting in the perfect line and the perfect shape for the defense. Mark Wilson gets back, cuts off any type of angle whatsoever that Kyle Miller's going to have. Pretty much forces him to have to take that shot because he is right on his hip, right in front of him. No way he's going to get that cross off. So despite being in the preseason, some good things that you'd like to see early on from some of your defenders.
Bunbury's in behind here. There's some running to do though. Here is the American international. Trying to skip away from the charging down Robert Huth. He can only poke it away for a goal kick though. Have a substitution for Stoke City. Cameron Jerome will be the man coming on. And looks as if Kenwyne Jones will be the man to make way for Stoke City. It's been a decent evening at the office for Kenwyne Jones, dropping a lot deeper than usual for Stoke City, but Cameron Jerome will be the man coming on then. 25 years of age, came through the youth system at Middlesbrough, made his name at Cardiff City, 24 goals in 2 years in the English Championship, joined Birmingham City in 2006 for $6 million, and a 5-year spell would follow. Scored 37 goals and 181 appearances there for Birmingham City, but joined Stoke City in 2011 after Birmingham's relegation from the English Premier League. 8 goals in 36 appearances in all competitions last year for Stoke City in his first year working under Tony Pulis. Here's Palacios moving through midfield again. Lovely ball to Shotton overlapping. Ayabouzi with a strong challenge there on the right back. It'll be a throw into Stoke City on the far side.
And a good time challenge from Korede Ayabouzi. For a second there, it looked like Stoke City was going to be caught on the break. But as they get up that sidelines, Korede Ayabouzi, the one thing that he has that you just can't deal with is that blazing speed. He's able to get back and perfectly time the challenge.
So here comes the long throw, permission to launch for Stoke City. Ryan Shotton, the man on the right-hand side to play the ball in. The options have come forward from the back line as well. Robert Huth has come forward for Stoke City. Cameron Jerome, Peter Crouch and Jonathan Walters all inside the area, lurking for Stoke City as well. Whitehead's on the edge of the penalty area. An altercation inside the penalty area of Sporting KC as well. Handbags more than anything. Ryan Shotton, the right back for Stoke City, will launch the ball in.
The official having words with Jonathan Walters and Kevin Ellis right now. Tell him to take it easy, fellas.
Ball in from the right-hand side. It's allowed to bounce inside the Sporting penalty area. And this one will just huck the ball away. Joseph to Ayabouzi. On his way now down the left-hand side. It's Korede Ayabouzi for Sporting Kansas City. Bunbury and Sada in support. Ayabouzi inside. Ball is easily dealt with by Matthew Etherington. Lovely turn of pace that from Korede Ayabouzi. Ball is threaded through. Here's a real chance for Stoke City. It's Jonathan Walters in behind. Walters! Good save that from Eric Kronberg down low to the left-hand side. End-to-end stuff here at Livestrong Sporting Park. Wonderful save from Eric Kronberg. It was a ball that was slipped through superbly for Jonathan Walters, who was denied by the American goalkeeper. What a chance that was for Stoke City.
And a great job from Kronberg to realize that ball over the top and just comes springing off his line. Meets it at about 12 yards off, outside of the goal mouth. Just a great, great stop. And not only just to get in front of it and keep it from around the back of the net, but also to grab it, smother it, come up fire, and lead to the counter.
There's Matthew Upson. Peter Crouch, beaten by Ayabouzi. Now this is Kyle Miller in behind on the right-hand side. Ball just skipping away from Miller. Wonderful chance early on. That wasn't a great save from Eric Kronberg. Lovely ball slipped through from Matthew Etherington. Walters, the Irish international, through on goal. Eric Kronberg made himself big and made the save. Walters will cushion it back into the path of the back line of Stoke City. Robert Huth, the former Chelsea defender. And Dean Whitehead, man hailing from Oxfordshire in England. And Jerome with a turn of pace down the right-hand side. This is where he's most dangerous. Excellent challenge from Markovic. That'll be a corner ball to Stoke City. One of the better English Premier League sides from set pieces. One of the most effective. Whether it be a throwing or a corner ball. Either way, the options are there, aren't they, for Stoke City? Looks as if Jamie Ness is coming on for Stoke City. Substitution will be made eventually.
This will be Wilson Palacios coming off. Making way, the Honduran making his way to the bench right now. And a okay performance, having a little chat with the Stoke coaching staff right now. You talked about it earlier, his knee injuries coming back, can't be easy.
Ball played in, Huth with the header, he glanced the ball wide of the right-hand post. A timid effort from the German. Goes behind either way. That'll be a goal kick to Sporting KC. Jamie Ness has come on then for Stoke City, the 21-year-old joining from Rangers after their demoralisation into the third tier of Scottish football. Kronberg to get us underway once again here at Livestrong Sporting Park. It looks as if Suni Saad's having a bit of facial treatment as well by the technical and medical staff here for Sporting KC. And hopefully be back on the field sooner rather than later. Here's Ayabuzi. Markovic. Michael Thomas for Sporting KC. Markovic once again. In his MLS debut against Columbus Crew over the weekend. Ayabuzi. Another player who saw game time against Columbus Crew. Kevin Ellis. Forced to retreat and go back to Eric Kronberg. Immediately charged down by Cameron Jerome. Joseph. Excellent pressure this from Stoke City. Ellis with a good first touch. Tries to play it through for Kyle Miller. Mark Wilson on hand for Stoke City.
Copy.
Here's Miller once again. Trying to play it into the path of Teal Bunbury. Goalkeeper got down low though once again. Well read by the Bosnia and Herzegovina goalkeeper. Here's Jamie Ness. Only new signing on the field for Stoke City. Walters. Markovic. Ball just stabbed away off Dean Whitehead. There's Robert Huth, the German defender for Stoke City. Foul there in the way of Stoke City as well. Jonathan Walters causing all sorts of problems for the Sporting KC backline. A free kick to Stoke City then.
Yeah, stand by.
Bodies come forward again. Whitehead. Right-footed, decent ball played in towards the back post, and it evades Peter Crouch in the end. It bounces behind for a goal kick to Sporting KC. The forward Suni Saad was receiving a little bit of a treatment. It looks as if he had a little bit of a gash towards the face. Kristen Buck, our sideline reporter, what can you tell us?
Guys, that was actually the second time Suni Saad came off the field to be treated for that bloody nose. The first time he had some cotton put into his nostril and it actually bled through. It actually bled through and he had to come back over so they could switch it out. At one point he actually had 4 people working on him, both the medical staff, the team doctor, and then of course team gear guy, Mike Flaherty. He was actually scrubbing the blood off of his jersey so he didn't have to change. So got back in there quickly. He's good to go. Should be for the rest of the second half, guys.
Kristen, thank you very much. It's the last thing Sporting KC wants. To see someone like Suni Saad injured. Speaking of injuries, Kevin Ellis goes down under a hefty challenge from Peter Crouch. Remains on the ground as well. Peter Crouch involved with the scuffles in midfield. Here's Whitehead. Markovic coming across to cover. Slamming the ball out of play. So throw into Stoke City. They're dangerous from these sort of angles. It's a clearance full of intention, wasn't it, from Markovic? To Ryan Shelton then with a long throw in from the right-hand side. Long ball in. So that's a bounce once again. Crouch thought about the acrobatic volley. Bunbury smashes away for Sporting. Now it's Mark Wilson. Ball hangs in the air for what seemed a decade. Referee blows his whistle. Free kick to Stoke City. Once again, the bodies can push forward here. Here's Robert Huth. Stoke City with no intention of slamming the ball forward. Wilson again. To slip it through for Walters, international teammate. Suni Saab to Peterson Joseph. Now it's Kyle Miller. Markovic to Karedia Ibuzi. Looking for an option. We'll go back to Markovic. Joseph. Just to slip it through for Teal Bunbury, who made the run. Timing was a little off from the American international, though. It's a goal kick to Stoke City. Most fans have only seen Sporting KC lose here 3 times in Major League Soccer this year so far, although they were defeated by 3-0 by Montpellier, the champions of France. There's Whitehead. Vaziha. Markovic to Kevin Ellis, the second homegrown player in the history of Sporting KC, product of the youth academy here. Giving away that pass though. Here's Peter Crouch, straight into the arms of Eric Kronberg. It's a poor finish from Peter Crouch. 14 goals in the English Premier League last year. You'd expect better from the big man.
I mean, really, you should. When you're pretty much gifted an opportunity like that right at the top of the box, Peter Crouch knows he probably should have done better with that one. Eric Kronberg doing a very good job, though, getting in the proper positioning, cutting off the angle. But really, from that sort of a distance, you expect a lot more from Peter Crouch.
Joseph. And Michael Thomas for Sporting KC. Karedia Ibuzi. Trying to get the shot off. Stoke City are awfully good at compacting themselves and making life very difficult for the opposition midfield pushing forward. Kevin Ellis is in an awkward position for the Stoke City backline. Deal with it effectively though. Kevin Ellis, the right back for Sporting KC, pushing forward.
And for the time being, it actually looks as if Kyle Miller and Kevin Ellis have swapped positions. Kyle Miller moving back to right back, Kevin Ellis moving up top. We see a lot of interchanging in this Sporting KC system.
Here's Cameron Jerome for Stoke City. Excellent save from Eric Kronberg. Cameron Jerome got away. Did well to get the shot off. He hit it as hard as he possibly wanted to. The direction was good as well, but it's an excellent save from Kronberg.
And really a tremendous buildup of the goal, starting from the grab down here on this end by Begovic, leading all the way up to really a tremendous shot from Cameron Jerome. It's a tough angle to score from, but Eric Kronberg coming up with the clutch save once again.
It'll be a corner ball into Stoke City. A substitution is imminent though as well. Mamadi Sadibi will be coming on for Stoke City. For the big man Peter Crouch, the England international. As we said earlier, 14 goals last year in the English Premier League, coming off the back of his most impressive season in English Premier League football. Scored 14 goals last year. Won't get one this evening though. He's replaced by Mamadi Sadibi, the 32-year-old former Mali international. 168 appearances and 24 career goals for Stoke City in a 7-year spell so far. He's a fan favourite amongst the Potters. And now perhaps he has a chance to get off the mark straight away. Ball played in, headed up into the air by Michael Thomas. It got a deflection on the way through as well. That'll be a corner ball. Ball played into the air. Not sure the referee or linesman knew what to give in the end. Either way, they've given it as a corner ball to Stoke City. Matthew Etherington with a chance to play the ball in. He does so left-footed as well. The referee spots an infringement. Wants the corner to be taken again, apparently. Play will resume here at Livestrong Sporting Park. Stoke City with the best opportunities in the opening of the last 5 or 6 minutes, I beg your pardon. Peter Crouch and Cameron Jerome forcing Eric Kronberg into decent saves. Here comes the third corner in a row, headed away by Michael Thomas. Thomas to Dom Dwyer. His pass back is poor to Ayabuzi.
Sporting KC needs to get sharp quick, because you mentioned it, Cal, the last few minutes it seems as if Stoke City has really turned it up, have really taken the momentum of this matchup and are knocking on the door for Sporting KC.
Shot with the ball in. Ball up into the air. Eric Kronberg battling. Wins it well away from Jonathan Walters. Eric Kronberg had an impressive display against Stoke City. Had a good display against Montpellier as well, despite conceding 3 goals in the last international friendly last Wednesday here in Kansas City.
Well, when you look at the 3 goals that were scored from Montpellier, especially the first one, I mean, I'm sure, so for those of you who haven't seen it, it is on our YouTube page, youtube.com/SportingKansasCity. You want to see just a class header. You look at that first goal scored by Montpellier here in this building last week. Truly a phenomenal goal, but also, if you can rewatch the game, do it, because you'll see just how good of a performance Eric Kronberg had in that game. It's been a long season for Kronberg, obviously, with dealing with back issues for pretty much the first half of the season, but now he's back at full strength and looks pretty good.
Here's Upson. Huth. Huth again. Joined Stoke City in 2009 for a fee of $7.85 million from Middlesbrough. Upson. 27 appearances in all competitions last year for Matthew Upson, the England centre-back. Jerome just flicks the ball on. And go out comfortably for a goal kick to Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah, one of the things that, at least right now, that is pretty interesting to me is the fact that no players on either benches are up and warming up on the sidelines. No stretching, no short calisthenics. So that leads you to believe that either or I should say, at least for Sporting KC's sake, it doesn't look like there will be any changes, because they're usually a team that is up and working and stretching the entire second half before we see subs. So we may try to get a full 90 out of all the guys on the field that they possibly can, save for energy. And it's looking like we're going to get one more sub for Stoke here pretty soon, but I don't know how many more we're going to get after that. So this could be the same. These could be close to the same teams on the field when the final whistle blows.
Dom Dwyer goes down under a challenge on that far left-hand side. That'll be a free kick to Sporting Kansas City. Dom Dwyer with the pace that he so often shows for Sporting. And he gets a chance anyway. Jonathan Walters dishing out instructions to his fellow Stoke City players. Sunny Saad stands over the ball for Sporting KC. The fans can sense something here. Sunny Saad for Sporting. Saad, lovely ball played in. Flashes wide of the left-hand post. It fizzed across the face of goal. All it needed was a touch, and it goes behind harmlessly for a goal kick.
You said it there, Cal. Pretty much all this needs is a touch. It's a great ball in from Sunny Saad. Dom Dwyer is there. He's got the back post covered, but unfortunately he's covered as well. You had good positioning there. I believe it was Walter that was guarding Dom Dwyer. If he's 5-6 inches to either side, Dom Dwyer's putting that one in the back of the net. That could be the turning point in this matchup.
Another substitution for Tony Pulis' men. Matthew Etherington goes off and Rory Delap comes on for Stoke City. The man who arguably introduced the long throw. Caused so many problems for English Premier League defences over the last few years with that long throw of his. 35 years of age now. Joined from Southampton in 2007, apparently after a short loan spell at Stoke City in 2006. Shotton trying to get the better of Ayabuzi. Here's Suni Saad. Kronberg is forced to clear the ball away quickly, under pressure from Jamie Ness. Here's Walters, battling with Michael Thomas. Suni Saad for Sporting. Here's Dom Dwyer. Looking to show a turn of pace. Can't get around Ryan Shotton. Excellent defending from the Stoke City right back. Dom Dwyer, another player yet to make his Major League Soccer debut for Sporting KC. He was drafted as 16th overall this year in the Super Draft. Jerome will do well to find Whitehead. Here's Suni Saad. Walters wins it back for Stoke City. Shimmies away from Ellis. Here's Mamadi Sidibe. Sporting back in possession. Karedi Ayabuzi, a man from London and England. Ayabuzi. Suni Saad. Thought about the shot. And finally overlapping Kevin Ellis. Ellis. Another throw to Sporting KC. Been impressive in the last 5 minutes or so, the MLS team.
That's a great overlapping run from young Kevin Ellis. He catches Jonathan Walters sleeping with his back to Kevin Ellis, not really doing anything to really note where he is, and just kind of sneaks up on his back. And then as Suni Saad cuts across the middle of the grain, Kevin Ellis takes that run up the right-hand side. It's a perfectly placed ball through in, but just too many bodies for Kevin Ellis to find a teammate in the box.
So a substitution again for Stoke City. Dean Whitehead is coming off, and Diego Arizmendi comes on, the Uruguayan midfielder. Had loan spells at Brighton and Barnsley as well as Huddersfield Town last season. Only managed 3 English Premier League appearances last season. 5 career appearances for Stoke City. He's a player who perhaps has a point to prove to Tony Pulis. No time like the present for Diego Arizmendi. Here's Michael Thomas. Suni Saad. Thomas quickly charged down by the combative work style of Jonathan Walters. Here's Thomas. Does well to find Bunbury. Jamie Ness winning possession back for Stoke City. Well, ironically, after being described as one of the most free-flowing soccer sides in Major League Soccer, you'd find it hard to believe that Sporting KC have only scored 12 goals at home all season. Joint second lowest home goal scorers in MLS alongside Toronto FC. Scored most of their goals on the road. Or it's arguable to say there is a lot less pressure on the road in Major League Soccer. Sporting KC next up will face New England Revolution on Saturday away in Boston. Big game that for Sporting. Here comes Ayabuzi. Still Karedi Ayabuzi. Stoke City will win it back. That was Mendy's first touch of the evening. Here's Peterson Joseph. Sporting KC yet to make a substitution this evening. 75 minutes on the clock. Likes of Bobby Convey, Kai Kamara and Julio Cesar available for the bench. Looks as if Michael Tong will be coming on for Stoke City as well. Here's Thomas. Markovic. Kevin Ellis again for Sporting KC. Miller. Naziha. To Markovic, the ball just over the head of the Serbian though. Misjudged the fight, did the centre-back for Sporting. One of the new additions here for Sporting KC. Here's Robert Huth. And now Matt Upson. Wilson. Lovely ball over to the right-hand side. Flag is up though. The decision goes in the way of Sporting KC. Gives us time for another substitution here as well at Livestrong Sporting Park. Jonathan Walters will be the man coming off. Michael Tong comes on then for Stoke City. The midfielder, 29 years of age now, formerly of the Manchester United Youth Academy. Played his best football in a 7-year spell with Sheffield United, more than 300 appearances at Sheffield United. Joined Stoke in 2008 for around $4 million, but didn't make an appearance last season. Had loan spells with Preston, Derby, and last season Barnsley as well. Made 10 appearances for Barnsley last year. Perhaps another player with a point to prove to manager Tony Pulis. Markovic. Free kick goes in the way of Stoke City. Cameron Jerome, the man penalised and taken down. Tony Pulis on the edge of his technical area, telling his players to push forward. Here's Kerry Zavagnan for Sporting KC, the assistant coach. Watching on as his side. Still tied 0-0 with Stoke City. Only 2 real opportunities in the second half, both came in the way of Stoke City. Through Cameron Jerome and Peter Crouch, forcing Kronberg into 2 fairly good saves. Here's Robert Huth. Upson. Jamie Ness with space ahead of him. Ball behind Jerome. Markovic is there to clear away. Arizmendi, the Uruguayan midfielder. Here's Shotton. Matthew Upson once again for Stoke City, who are doing well to keep the possession. Wilson. Swinging ball in. Markovic is there to deal with it once again against Sidibe. Another throw then for Stoke City. Mendy. Don Dwyer cushions the header inside to Michael Thomas. What can Sporting do from here? Pace of the game died down somewhat. 10 minutes remaining at Livestrong Sporting Park. Here's Varziha. Teal Bunbury. Suni Saad. Excellent challenge from Sidibe. Saad certainly felt the worst of the challenge. Gets to his feet in the end.
It's a great challenge from Sidibe. It really is. Sporting KC was starting to kind of take their time, try to pick apart the Stoke defense that way, trying to get some runs going a little bit more east and west as opposed to north and south. But Sidibe picks up on it as soon as he sees Suni Saad make that run. He knows Michael Thomas is giving him the ball, and he's right there to clean it up.
Get a chance for some of the players to get some fluids down themselves. Hot and humid evening again here in Kansas City. Robert Huth. Arizmendi. To Wilson, the left back. Now here's a chance for Stoke City. It's a shirt tug there, and it's a penalty kick to Stoke City. Relatively lacklustre, if not naive, defending from Conrad Varziha, the youngster here for Sporting KC. The shirt tug was clear. It was imminent the referee was going to blow the whistle. He did exactly that. And late here in the game at Livestrong Sporting Park, it's a penalty to Stoke City.
Now, was there a little bit of a shirt tug? Yes, I do agree that yes, there is a little bit of a shirt tug, but it also looked fairly minor. I don't know enough to really take a player to the ground, but it was sold. And if you can sell it well and earn your team a penalty, then, you know, then go for it. I mean, that's what a lot of people do. The referee, from his angle, he just sees the outstretched arm of Conrad Varziha, the little bit of the pull up, and then all of a sudden a player on the ground. He's going to blow the whistle every time.
Michael Tong scored plenty of goals for Sheffield United from the penalty spot. Can he do it in front of a home crowd here in Kansas City? Michael Tong for Stoke City. Right-footed into the bottom right-hand corner. Eric Kronberg went the wrong way. And Stoke City, amongst the boos that echo around Livestrong Sporting Park, will lead the home side Sporting KC by 1-0 here in the 83rd minute.
You know, it's a good strike. It's a good finish. You sent the keeper the wrong way, slot it home nice and easy. Me personally, I'm just not a fan of a friendly being decided by a penalty kick late in the game. Both teams have been playing very well. It's a pretty harsh call, at least in my opinion. I don't know about yours. But, you know, both teams have been playing very well. It's been a good, even, back-and-forth game. I just really hope that the penalty is not what decides the game here tonight at Livestrong Sporting Park.
The thing for me here, Jake, is as a player nowadays, you're told if you receive any sort of contact, if you feel a nick of any sort, you're told to go down, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's almost kind of sad that is what it has become, because you just kind of you just lose that. I don't even know what to say. You just, other than the fact that it has turned out that way. I mean, you try to let the play on the field decide the matchup, but, you know, recently and increasingly over the years, you know, the embellishment is almost rewarded more than the actual hard work in a lot of cases. And that is the turning point in a lot of games. And like I said, with, you know, there's still 5 minutes left. You just hope that that's not the case here tonight. And I'm sure Stoke would probably agree. I mean, they're not going to come out and say that it wasn't a penalty, but I would almost be certain that they're going to agree that, you know, they wish the game wasn't decided by a penalty kick.
Michael Tong from the penalty spot then for Stoke City. The goal that separates these two sides at Livestrong Sporting Park.
Good finish too, but I mean, a good finish.
He was a set-piece specialist for Sheffield United in the English Championship. See why he was chosen above them all to take the penalty. Perhaps a player whose Stoke City career hangs by the thread of a needle as well. And he believed he was going to move on in the off-season. Now he's perhaps proven a point to Tony Pulis, not only with the penalty, but he was the one who won the penalty as well with the late run around Kevin Ellis. Either way, Stoke City leads Sporting KC by 1-0 here. Here's Thomas. Kevin Ellis goes down under a challenge. The referee and linesman wanted the play to continue momentarily there. Wanted to see what Kyle Miller could do. He couldn't go past his man though. A free kick is awarded to Sporting KC.
And it was a good call by the official to let play continue, because Sporting KC had a decided advantage. Kyle Miller was right there to gather up the ball, and then as soon as he saw not just the fact that Kyle Miller was kind of taken to the ground, as soon as his momentum was stopped before the foul was ever committed, he blows his whistle, gives Sporting KC a free kick. Good job by the official.
Suni Saab for Sporting KC. Ball played in. Headed away by Matthew Upson. To the far side for Teal Bunbury, who let the ball trickle out. It'll be a throw to Sporting. Kyle Miller was the player who thought he had a chance to play on for Sporting. Referee brought it back though. And now Joseph with the throw for the home side. Thomas. Let's keep the ball in. It's a yellow card given to Michael Thomas as well. Did kick the corner flag out of its standing. So throwing to Stoke City deep inside their own half. Shotton will launch this ball forward. Here's Kevin Ellis. Suni Saab. It's almost back to Eric Kronberg.
As if that flick would have been in Sidibe's way, that would have been one of the greatest flicks I've ever seen.
Here's Joseph. Pass from Miller is a poor one. Mendy unable to keep the ball in play. Now Michael Thomas. Does well to find Markovic. Here comes the Serbian. Yabuzi is well to stay on his feet. Markovic onside, ball towards the back post. There was goalwards, still bouncing. Bunbury against Huth here. Excellent defending from Robert Huth. Bunbury trying to get in on the axe here as well. It's a foul in the way of Stoke City. They have every right to be aggrieved as well. It's a clear foul from Bunbury on the goalkeeper. And it's a free kick to Stoke City.
Well, it all starts with the cross here. You have 4 players go up, 3 players end up on the ground, and Stoke just kind of lets that ball bounce around there for a little bit. Then Huth finally decides he needs to get that over to Begovic, but Teal Bunbury decides to make a play on it too. A little bit late, a little bit of contact, sends Begovic to the ground. Easy call for the official to make, but still you got to like the intensity you're seeing from the guys in the 90th minute on both sides.
The official on the sideline has indicated there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes.
Three minutes of added time then at Livestrong Sporting Park. Here's Joseph. Cameron Jerome. Huth just evading the challenge of Bunbury. Awkward clearance from the goalkeeper, and Kyle Miller will equalise here for Sporting KC. Well, in the most bizarre fashion, Kyle Miller, the hometown hero here, gets his first goal for his hometown club against English Premier League side Stoke City. They'll never concede a goal like that ever again. 1-1.
I'm just trying to figure out what exactly just happened right now. We're about a minute and a half or so away before this game's over. Back pass, pretty lazy clearance from Begovic right at Kyle Miller. You want to talk about right place, right time? He doesn't even make a move for it. He just lets it hit him. And sure enough, there's enough pace on that ball that the reaction sends it clear into the net. Now, I might have been a little upset about the penalty earlier, but gosh, the game-tying goal just totally took any anger out of me. That was just awkward and entertaining. I don't know how else to put it.
That'll perhaps be the most bizarre pre-season goal you will ever see. Either way, Kyle Miller is off the mark for Sporting KC. Whether it be a pre-season game or not, that'll do his confidence the world of good. Now it's Don Dwyer. And able to keep the ball in play as the clock continues to count down here at Livestrong Sporting Park. He clearly likes his soccer, doesn't he? Well, there we have the final whistle at Livestrong Sporting Park. It's finished 1-1 between Sporting KC and Stoke City. Fairly even game. Stoke City had the better of the second half, it's safe to say, though. Michael Tong from the penalty spot gave Stoke City the lead in the 83rd minute, but then in bizarre fashion, an awkward clearance from the goalkeeper fell to Kyle Miller. The ball almost hitting the young midfielder over the head of the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. That made it 1-1. A bizarre goal, perhaps the most bizarre